this show with any regularity, you know about me is I'm a guy who questions everything. I like to kind of buck the system a little bit and do things my own way. And our next two guests are very, very similar. They're two of America's leading chiropractors, and actually they're local family here, right here in Stockbridge, Georgia, if you're watching in the Atlanta area. Lucky us, we get to have them here. But the reason I start out by saying that I'm somebody who likes to buck the system is they're the same way. They've asked the question, why does it have to be that when a woman walks into her OBGYN's office and they fill out this little piece of paper and they say, okay, Mrs. Smith, this is how you're going to have your baby. You're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to check in, you're going to push the baby out, you're going to go home and you're going to feed it this and it's going to raise and everything's going to work out, right? Well, our next two guests are two people who said, that ain't the best system necessarily out there. And we want to show you how you can properly plan for the end results. In other words, if you want a healthy, well-balanced, healthy, functioning child, this is the formula that you need to follow to do it. And it's very contrary to the way that the world system is currently set up. So it's my pleasure and privilege this evening to introduce you to doctors Amanda and Jeremy Hess.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much
welcome,
for being
guys.
here with us this evening.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you.
We're so glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, this is really cool because we love, you know, out-of-the-box thinkers, of course. And again, like Rick was saying, so many times we think, well, just because the doctor said it's supposed to be this way, it's supposed to be this way. And clearly it's not.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, when I was first pregnant back in 2006 and all my girlfriends were pregnant as well, or even sister-in-laws, you know, they would be telling me these stories about how their birth experience went, and it just wasn't the ideal situation.
We understand that.
Yeah, mine wasn't either. Yeah.
So I started questioning things. I started questioning, well, you know, are all these procedures necessary? You know, if I do go into a hospital, is it likely that I am going to be able to have a natural childbirth without any medication and have things the way I want it? And so I did my research, you know, found out things like the maternal mortality rate in the United States as well as the infant mortality rate is really not where it's supposed to be, and that the care here is, you know, maybe not the best health care in the world. And so we started saying, well, what can we do different, and how can we have this pregnancy and this childbirth go the way we want it to? And so we just chose a different path. And you know, that's what we want people to do, is just think about, you know, there is other options out there for yourself as well as, you know, for raising your family. I'm sure my husband can, you know, go over all the statistics about how the children these days are more medicated now than ever.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's interesting. Our kids, we have a, like we were just saying, a four-year-old birthday party tomorrow, actually. And our daughter's almost 7.
You survived.
We survived. The first couple of years we're getting.
Sweet.
So, you know, our kids are in that, you know, elementary school age, and right now in America, elementary school kids, almost a third of them are on drugs right now. You know, not just you know, a 2-week antibiotic or a little thing for the strep throat. Close to a third of them are on drugs right now, pharmaceuticals. That the doctors are telling their parents and grandparents they'll be taking these drugs for the rest of their life.
Wow.
You know, and that's sad.
It
you
is
know, it's
sad.
interesting because the statistic, I worked for a major drug company for years, and one of the statistics that blew my mind was a doctor who said in 1950 pediatric type 2 diabetes did not exist unless you had pancreatic failure. It didn't exist. And yet today we're seeing type 2 diabetes in 7-year-olds. And you know, it's like you said, it's a result of all the environmental factors of you know, the sugar and things. And it's a shame because you set a kid up now for insulin diabetic dependence for his whole life, and ADD medications and things of that nature.
Were you guys always passionate and interested in natural health and healing the body from within the way that God designed, or was this something that happened through an experience in your life?
For me personally, I grew up in a very normal American home where we went to the pediatrician, we went to the doctor for all our well visits, you know, got all the vaccinations, which back in the 80s was less than a third of the vaccinations that they give children now. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah, it's much more these days. So, and I grew up in a medical model where if you were sick, you know, you were in bed, you went to the medicine cabinet, got your pill. If it was really bad, then you went to the doctor to get something stronger, or to the pharmacist, and that type of thing. And then it gradually went into my 20s, where in my 20s I found myself being told that I needed antidepressants.
That's if you do go to the doctor and you say anything like I'm having trouble sleeping or I'm a little sad, sometimes that's the first thing they'll give you.
Well, 25% of women now are on antidepressants.
I totally believe that. I
totally believe that. And even in the body of Christ, they say it's higher.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a sad situation.
Well, and I was sharing just a little bit of my story, that we've shared with the viewers many times about after coming out of a coma, every doctor that I went to just kept giving me prescription after prescription. And you buy into this mindset, if the doctor says it's right and they push it across the table, 3 at a time, 4 at a time, you just take it. You just take it. Yeah.
I think, having worked with a lot of physicians, I think the problem is that somewhere along the line, medical school stopped being about treating people to keep them healthy and more about managing symptoms.
Yeah.
And, and literally, and it's not the doctor's fault. A lot of them are so overworked. Now they're seeing 40 to 60 to 80 patients in an hour, but now it's almost like when you go to your car mechanic, they go, okay, what's wrong? All right, I'll fix that. Instead of looking at the symptoms. And it's great to hear that you guys are focusing in on that.
Yeah.
Because when you were talking about getting shots in that, it's like the minute you challenge the way things are supposed to be, well, that's really odd, because with Pierce, our son, we went to the pediatrician and said, you're going to break up the shots. We don't want 3 shots in, 2 in one leg and 1 in the other. You're going to break them up. We're going to come, and it's like, what? It's almost like alien concept.
It's all. Now, you have been. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like you said, it was questioning any type of protocol. So the protocol for a pregnant woman when they go into the hospital, you sign these papers, and you're not really given time. I mean, you're in labor. Are you going to sit there and read every single line of paper?
Accident, just sign here and you just do what we tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so then you're just at the mercy of the protocols, and then if you're not progressing like you're supposed to in a certain amount of time, then this intervention is going to happen, or then we recommend this, and then it just becomes like a snowball effect.
Right.
Of what happened.
And if you challenge that system, they look at you like you have a second head.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So it was just so many women that came to us that started saying, and we kept hearing again and again,
yes.
I wish I would have known.
Right.
If I would have known this, I would have done things differently. And that's through our whole practice, specifically with women and pregnancy. And it screams so loudly there because, another statistic that's scary is, the #1 surgery performed on women now is C-section. A third of babies are born that way now through C-section. So
a third.
Yeah. So it's scary. And I think one of the, we kept hearing even very healthy young women, 19, 22-year-old, when you would see them, we'd be taking care of them, they'd be, healthy, they've done everything right, and somehow on the other side, they ended up being induced C-section. It was like, how is that possible?
Right.
So
exactly.
It just seemed like...
Look at how the numbers are just exponentially growing and growing. So I'm interested, so you guys, did you meet in chiropractic college, or did you all have a passion to start your business together? How did that happen? Because this is cool that you work together.
It wasn't that romantic.
Hey, she got a restraining order against me, so, I understand.
We met...
Not quite that severe, but close.
No, that's dramatic, so there we go.
It was close.
We met in a trendy area in Atlanta called Buckhead.
Yes, we know Buckhead, girl. We grew up here,
And he was in school, I was entering school, I was waiting tables, he was parking cars, and asked me out in a parking lot.
She parked in my parking lot.
Oh,
so you guys had high-powered jobs at the time.
Yes, high-powered. Okay. And then was this your dream, obviously, then to work together? And open. What's the name of your business?
It's Discover Chiropractic in Stockbridge.
Excellent. And so you guys are one of the busiest chiropractic places
in the state of Georgia.
It's amazing.
That is amazing. So people are hearing about you. They're drawn to not just the chiropractic, but this mindset.
The mindset of just that the body created by God, designed by God, and that it has the ability to heal from the inside out.
So paint for me, if you would.
That's beautiful.
Jeremy and Amanda, the typical patient that comes through the door the first time, what does that person look like, and what can they kind of expect from you guys?
I think the typical, we call them practice members. The typical practice member is someone who, has been down the road. I'd say, we do have a portion that actually children come in first. So parents actually bring the children in, a colicky baby, a child with ear infections, maybe a toddler that has reoccurrent immune system dysfunction. So we do see that. And then the other side is typically a practice member who, maybe 35, 45, maybe 55, in that range where it was funny because, we said when you're younger, maybe you're a teenager, you grew up in a house, you just take things out of the medicine cabinet. Okay, kind of low-level stuff. As you age, the problems seem to become more chronic. Now all of a sudden you're at the pharmacy. Now all of a sudden you're getting prescriptions. So I think that it's like a snowball effect where a lot of our people, when they come in, it's like, hey, I know why I was on that first drug, but I don't know why I'm on 6 or 7 now. How did I get from 1? I know, as a matter of fact, I even know what that one was called. Now I'm on 6 or 7. I don't even know what they're all called or why I'm even taking them. So I think that's the common person we see now.
the common person of there's got to be a way out of this.
Yes.
There has to be
So I
a
was gonna
better
say,
way.
so it's
Yes.
more,
So-
it's more people get fed up with the scenario and say, I'm on one drug and 7 drugs to manage the side effects of the first drug.
Yeah.
And so I'm done with medical science and I'm coming to you guys.
What a different answer.
Because I guess because see, I didn't grow up in a chiropractic family like she did. So for me it was okay, if my back hurts I go see the chiropractor. But you guys are telling me that there's a lot of other things that chiropractors treat, including ear infections, otitis media, things of that nature.
Well, and
But we're nervous system specialists, so
Yeah.
the spine, where all the bones are, the nerves are coming out. So wherever those nerves are going to, whatever part of your body, whether it's your ears, your heart, your lungs, your digestion, if that nerve is being interfered with,
right.
because the bones are out of alignment, then your body's not going to function the way God intended it to.
Exactly.
So you probably then would find yourself really working in an area of pain management where people are on chronic pharmaceuticals, Oxycontin and things like that, having to then manage those patients. Those are probably a challenge.
helping
Yeah,
them.
just the whole range, and that's what's great about, and that's one of the reasons we are such a large practice, because we cater to so many, especially family care.
Yes.
We like to take care of the baby. We love doing nothing better than that first week or so, first baby's adjustment.
And that brings me to this, which is Baby Designed by God. This is a first in a series of 3, right? So congratulations on this. Yep. Tell us about your heart for creating this book.
Again, I just wanted to create this book to let moms, let families know that there is a better way for you and your family, and it doesn't have to be the mainstream medical model that all of us have grown up knowing, because how that's going to end up, again, like we were saying, is you're going to end up on all these medications. Maybe you're going to end up having surgeries that you didn't really sign up for. And there's always a cause and effect to what's happening within our health. And lifestyle changes need to be made as well. And so we just want to educate people to say, you know what? Let's think about some other options here, and maybe do things differently, or not repeat the same mistakes that maybe my mother made, or
I think that's
my
beautiful.
grandmother.
Right. This is all about educating and changing mindsets, because then if you can reach this generation and then they bring their children to you, you're impacting the next generation, which is how we change our world.
Well, I think
That's
a great
beautiful.
evolution that we're seeing now is the era of the more educated patient. With the advent of the internet and physicians
I
like
agree.
yourselves who are writing books and that, it's not like 100 years ago when somebody's from, well, this is what the doctor said. Now, I hear from a lot of the physicians that I interface with, patients will come in with literally a stack and say, well, doc, I've been online and this is what I've found.
Yeah, the internet kind of changed all of that,
Yeah,
I think
so it's really great to see the era of this newly educated patient.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys have done a great job of really embracing those folks and helping to get them on a continuum, because from what I'm hearing from you is that not every patient is going to follow that same continuum, much like modern medicine teaches nowadays.
Absolutely.
And not everybody wants to necessarily make the lifestyle changes or the changes that need to be made.
Right.
No, it's just like saying it's, it was just now January 2014, now it's February, I want to lose all this weight, but not everybody is going to do what it takes
Exactly.
to get to the end result.
Well, it's a discipline. It's a lifestyle. I think that everything, and we always talk about this, you've got to be willing to do the work. I think even our first guest mentioned that about talking about overcoming is not being a victim, that victim mentality. So for someone, even like with me, when I was on all these prescriptions, I had to identify like, whoa, this is an issue. This is a problem. And it does take work to get off prescriptions, but it's worth it. I mean, and it seems like, especially with this, your book, Baby Designed by God, you're empowering so many women to say there's other alternatives, there's other options.
One thing I find is that it's like a cliche now. People perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
We hear that so much in church, and it's kind of like, but truly, still in the area and the realm of pregnancy and birthing and raising children, there still is such a lack of knowledge.
Right.
Amongst the common mom or dad, and having the baby, raising it. It's just so many things that they don't know what to do.
Right.
And what happens is that when they're a mom that's, have teenagers now, or even a grandma,
Right.
which we hear from grandmothers all the time. If I would have known,
I know.
I would have, I would have had the 4 tubes in my, son's. Now he's 24 years old,
Right.
or 34 years old. He had 4 sets of tubes. How comes I didn't find you, 30 years ago?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, let's move ahead. Let's prevent that from happening.
Yes,
That's
and
what
so
it's all about.
you encourage people to challenge, question. I know you do something you said out of Spartanburg recently too. This was some kind of a training module. Was this?
Yeah, what we do is we also have a program. We mentor chiropractors and actually now natural health providers to really have more of a passion and emphasis on just educating the community and reaching out and
Awesome.
and the natural health community, specifically chiropractic, and just really going after it and actually making a difference. You know, so
Is this something that people can sign up for as well through your website and find more
Absolutely.
about?
They sure can.
Okay. Tell us your website and where people can connect with you and get all your resources.
it's for the book. It's designed-by-god.com.
Wonderful.
So,
Okay.
absolutely.
Excellent.
And do you have a website for the practice as well? If somebody
Yeah.
might have heard and said, hey, I
Yes.
need
Yeah,
to see these folks.
absolutely.
Go discoverhealth.com.
Perfect. Wonderful. Definitely check out their website, their resources, and on the designed-by-god.com, they've got a video there, about a 4-minute video there that I checked out today, and it's wonderful. It tells you more about them, their practices, some real-life stories that you're going to really connect with. You can also connect with Dr. Jeremy and Amanda on our Facebook page and find their resources there. But right now, we're going to go listen to some music, so enjoy.